I really thought was cool about the way that the as a whole was put together. It's kind of really split into like this side A, B connection. So side A ends with something totally out of our genre. A bit of tape noise that me and my partner did in the bathroom with some nails and construction nails and stuff. And a really like, I guess it was kind of almost like, I don't know, like beat, like really like heavy beat, with a poem recited by my partner who's a writer.
This is Rob Ruckus.
Hey, this is Kate Clover.
Hey guys, it's Nick Collins here from The Effect and Better Strangers.
Hi, my name's Madeline Rose.
Hey, it's Ben McKelvey.
It's Tim Howard here from Mike and the Mechanics.
Hello, I'm Amanda Lehman.
I'm Billy Harvey.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Casey Sampson from the band Twist Stop.
Hey, it's Tony from Fastball.
Hello, everybody. My name is Isaiah Mitchell.
Hey guys, it's Matt here from the White Lakes.
You're listening to Almost Famous Magazine.
Come join us for this interview. Check it out, Almost Famous Magazine.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Hang right here on Almost Famous Magazine. I'm your host, Scott Saldinger. In every episode, we hang with musicians and artists across every genre from around the world, sharing their story with you. If you're new here, thank you for joining us for the first time. Please, as you know, it helps when you subscribe, ring the bell, add a comment, whatever. Please help us out. We appreciate it because it helps us bring you all of these great hangs week after week. Also, we're now on the go, so you can find us on any of your major favorite podcast sites like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podbeam, Player FM, Boomplay, and many more. You name it, we're there. Take us on the go. It's been a little while since we talked to a Canadian band because June was Canada month for us. Every single hang we did was a Canadian band. So it's been a minute, and I'm super excited because we've got Canadian punk, post, hardcore provocateurs. Say that 5 times fast. Midnight Peg, and they're back and have with a new album coming up. They have a new release, a darkly erotic new single called The Hag. Not The Hang, The Hag. Don't know why they didn't name it after us, but we're going to find out where that song came from. And it's a primal tale of vengeance and desire for their forthcoming second LP, Skinning, and it's releasing October 3rd. Now, this band features veterans of Edmonton's music scene. We're going to get to know all the members of Midnight Peg, whether they're here or not with us tonight. They're well-versed in post-hardcore, as also avant-garde, post-punk, and they've mixed it all up and they put it in a pot, and now we're getting a new album. So I'm super, super excited. Their genre-bending performances have also earned them a loyal following, and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys got to tour with Pussy Riot, correct?
Correct.
Awesome. All right. I'm getting stuff right today. Hey, the first time in the whole day. So we are joined by Rocky Man on vocals and lyrics, Eric Neilson on guitar and vocals. Since the rest of the band couldn't make it, guess what? We're going to talk about them. But both of you, welcome to The Hang. I'm excited to have you here tonight.
Excited to be here.
Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Yeah. So, we like to start these conversations to get to know one another. And I love to learn origin stories. I think they're super cool because the essence of those kind of, it's the spark that ignites the flame that really gets things going. And you've all been around the music scene for a while. How did the band come together? And when you guys did, how did you know there was something there that was going to be really special?
Well, Eric, do you want to start this one? Because you started it. This is all your fault.
Yeah. Damn it. Yeah, so how did it come together? It was like at a board game night, I think. I played board games with some buddies, and one of them was Jeff, the drummer in Midnight Peg, and I knew him years ago, and I knew he was a really good drummer, and I had a bunch of new songs, and I was kind of like fucking around with them. Like, I don't know, I want to just put these to some music. And so one day Jeff gave me a ride home from board games, and I was like, man, you want to jam? I have some songs. And he was like, huh? Okay. So that's where it started. And then within like a month of that, we had talked to Rocky and a a friend of ours, Brian, to play bass. And yeah, we just started jamming. And the band actually didn't really sort of like identify what it was going to be for probably a year, I'd say. It was a lot of like trying shit, and there was a lot of material that was kind of ready to go, but getting the songs to a point that we wanted to play them live and like having a really strong sense of what kind of band we were didn't happen immediately. But yeah, it sort of just started as like a kind of an afterthought and became pretty rad and serious over about a year, I'd say.
So before I get Rocky's side of the story, I got to know, what board games were you playing?
Oh, Scythe. Have you ever played Scythe?
No. I'm an old Dungeons and Dragons player from way back when, but I've never played Scythe. No.
Yeah, we a couple of us in the band play Dungeons and Dragons as well. But yeah, Scythe is like a fucking crazy, I don't know, like imagine Settlers with robot tanks. it's
like
really
Risk
good.
on steroids or something.
Yeah, it's Riskish, yeah, for sure. It just has a really cool setting. Like it's kind of a Victorian World War I era, like steampunk. Oh man, it's really good.
I was just going to ask you this, steampunk. Now, is it now a requirement that everyone in the band plays the game?
No.
Rocky doesn't look so excited about that.
I really like that game, but I don't like being required to play games because that just takes the fun out of it.
Yeah.
It's not like a band initiation or anything, huh?
No.
Yeah, no.
It's actually too bad because we don't play that often anymore. And anyway, I also suck shit at board games, so it's kind of terrifying for me. But yeah.
So Rocky, you get pulled into this group of musicians who are like, they've got like songs that they're kind of like, you know, they're simmering. They're trying to figure out what flavor to put them in. You get pulled in, and what was your experience like? And what did you contribute to add to that secret sauce?
Sure. Yeah, I actually thought it was really funny. So the bass player, Brian, he's a librarian, and I am too. So he knew me through like library conferences. In fact, we used his old conference board to whiteboard to write our freaking set list on. Anyway, I hadn't played in a band in 10 years. I don't even know that he knew that background of mine. So he just like, suddenly I get a text out of the blue one day from a number I don't recognize that was like, "Hi, I'm Eric, Brian's friend. He told me I should reach out to you, that you'd be good in our band. Want to come join or whatever?" And I was like, "Oh, I think I didn't have my filter on."
That completely makes me think about those crazy pig butchering texts you get from people who are like, "Hey, are we meeting for lunch today?" And you're like, "Who the hell is this?"
Yeah, like it really.
Oh my! So it all started with a rando text. That's awesome.
It did.
Yeah,
for me, it was a rando. And what?
No, go on.
Yeah, and I was like, I think I'd seen Eric and Brian had up bands before. Like they've been playing together for like 20 years, as far as I know. I think in a couple different projects. And I was like, "Oh, that guy? Is that guy?" Yeah. But I don't know, I was really, really nervous because I came to Edmonton from the island and I hadn't played since like 2011 or whatever. I guess I take 10 years between bands usually. So, I was originally playing rhythm guitar. And Eric and I were going to do sort of equal girth vocals, and then after kind of right before the pandemic, I got Crohn's disease and had a massive like surgery, or mid-pandemic. So I couldn't like lift my bass or the guitar or the amp or the guitar for a while. So I was like really shy on vocals, like kind of like hiding in the room. Just like, no one can hear me. But I just suddenly started doing lead vocals. And then we had our first show and it was so much fun. I just got to yell at all these people that I wasn't mad at. And then I was like jumping around. It was so liberating. So I kind of fell into lead vocals because of disease. And I won't go back. It was so fun. It's fun.
Thank you,
Look,
disease.
You never know when something happens that just opens up another great door. I have to ask you, because I was listening to your music today, And who are some of your kind of vocal influences? Because I'm going to tell you when I was listening, I was thinking of somebody, and they're pretty modern. They've been around a while. They're from Austria actually, but you really reminded me of them. So who are some of your influences?
Oh man. Well, I think my background is in like creative writing. Like I used to do like playwriting and writing film scripts and poetry and stuff. So I was like, I'll never write a novel. So I guess I have some influences in that world. And then, like my partner, his favorite band is The Fall. I also really love The Fall, and like just their lyrics wise, that kind of writing, and gosh, I guess who else? And sound wise, yeah, I think it's a mix. Like I like that whole sort of 80s sort of hardcore, post-hardcore generation. Not quite Riot Grrrl, maybe they fall into that, but I think I liked a mix of like the Gits and Lilliput and who else would there be? Oh my gosh, I have my I know, yeah. Oh my, it all becomes a big mesh to me sometimes.
Well, see, but, I was listening, yeah. And I was listening, and I'm like, you've got a similar delivery and sound as Cecilia in the Baboon Show. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Oh, I haven't, but I have to go listen now.
I'm ready.
Yeah, check out the Baboon Show.
The Baboon.
Yeah, they've been on with us before. She is delightful. They were supposed to play punk rock bowling in Las Vegas, and unfortunately, their country recommended not coming to the States, so they didn't.
Oh, right.
But
they're from Austria,
your delivery really. I'm sorry.
They're from Austria.
Yeah, Cecilia Bostrom is her name. It's the Baboon Show. They're really good. I was super bummed I couldn't see him, but like your delivery really reminded me of her.
Okay.
I realized like I was getting the same vibe. So no, that's why I was kind of curious where your influences came from. So this is, upcoming is your second album. And I read a couple references. It's kind of like conceptual art. It kind of starts with a kind of a slow mood and it builds. Kind of expand on that and tell me how it grew from the concept to the final mix. Like give me some insight on the album and kind of the feel and texture of it.
Well, I'm going to maybe Eric, because Eric really composes the heart, all the instrumentals, and then he creates the playground for us usually. So go for it. Eric, what was your vision?
Part of the kind of approach, I guess, for the conceptual part of the album was just some things we were doing live. So we did a little bit of touring after our first album, and we kind of started this weird habit of like having half of a new song written, or even just one riff or one section. And because we're dummies, we're like, let's just play that live. Okay. And so there was actually one riff that we ended up playing quite a lot when we were on tour on Vancouver Island. And
that's the island.
Nice.
Every shirt is a Vancouver Island shirt. And that riff, and I won't expand much because I think there's some kind of neat Easter eggs if people care about that on the album. That riff actually shows up in a few places on the record now. It's made its way into a few different sections. And then what we did is took those songs that include that riff and expanded some other parts from those into other sections. And so it's not like 2112 or some Coheed and Cambria riff or album or something, but it's more like Easter eggs. And it's definitely my favorite thing. Like I really like composing a song. Like that's definitely for me the biggest payoff of this whole project. But it's pretty rad when you get a collection of songs and you get to start like fucking around and saying, all right, careful listeners will notice a connection between these two songs and that part of the album. And we actually did something really fun for the vinyl where the A side and the B side have their own little themes and that kind of thing. So it's really just kind of like album craft. It's not really like we're not trying to write a manifesto or anything, but yeah, it's just us being music dorks, basically.
Well, let me ask you this about so if side A and B, if you're a a record and vinyl connoisseur who uses a turntable, which, you know, it's a growing number of people. Did you sequence the album based on that idea, or is it when you deliver it via digital, does it come in a different sequence?
It'll come all together the same, with maybe one or two tiny tweaks, but that sequence will make more sense with the vinyl for sure.
Oh, okay. Now you said you have Easter eggs. Are these Easter egg references within the album itself from one song to another? Are there Easter egg references that pay any homage to any other musicians, bands, or things we've heard before? Like, what should we be listening for?
Well,
not specific because they're an Easter egg, but give us an idea of like what we might expect so that we can be on the lookout for it.
I think, Rocky, you should definitely like say whatever you'd like to about the lyrics, because the lyrics are full of crazy ass references. But the Easter eggs that I was referring to were kind of like within album Easter eggs, having things connect to like other. I mean, aside from the places where we're just trying to rip off another band because we like them, there's no like, there's no actual like planned external Easter eggs. That's a really good idea. I might steal that idea.
All right. So there's no like suddenly you're doing Bryan Adams in the middle of it.
So the best, I'm just going to take a second while I'm on the air to say it's like one of the best moments on the new Propaganda record is that what's his name? Bruce Cockburn song, and it just comes out of nowhere and they just fucking sing, and suddenly it's like they're singing Bruce Cockburn. It's not a cover, it's not an adaptation, it's like a little, I don't know. I love that. I just like had my head spinning.
I think stuff like that is cool too. For me, you know, whether it's a film or it's an album, I want something to jump out at me. Right? Mm-hmm. I want something that goes, wait a minute. I didn't expect that at all. Because I think that just makes it, I think it brings more fun to the experience, right? Because you're like, wait a minute. That feels like something I know that came from here. Let me connect the dots. And if you're a real music geek, you're just like, okay, that lick, they changed the key, they did this. Wait a minute, I can track it back 3 albums to 2 other artists or something like that. I just love that stuff. So I think that's super cool.
It so much. It's great. And we already have a new song for the new record we're working on that we've only played a section of live a whole bunch of times. So the theme continues.
So that's for album 3.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome! All right, we'll talk about album 3 in a little bit. Rocky, you were going to talk about the lyrics and some of the references in there. Oh, let's get you off mute. You're on mute.
I'll add to. I'm mute. Am I mute? No.
Eric,
I really thought was cool about the way that as a whole was put together. It's kind of really split into like this side A, B connection. So side A ends with something totally out of our genre. A bit of tape noise that me and my partner did in the bathroom with some nails and construction nails and stuff. And a really like, I guess it was kind of almost like, I don't know, like beat, like really like heavy beat, with a poem recited by my partner who's a writer. And he does our artwork too, Khagan Asanov. And then the last song on the album, Wait, will reference the melody in the last song on side B. So there's a lot of there's like a cyclical theme throughout the whole album, where in that sense. So yeah, which is fun. It's fun. I really like that part about it.
It's fun,
and Eric kind of did that.
If you only have side A of the album, side A ends in a way that kind of feels like the album is over. It's kind of fucked, but if you listen to the whole thing straight through, which I hope people do, they could do that streaming or whatever. It'll be a nice. It's kind of operates as an interlude, and then the first song on the B side is like the title track, and
So is it kind of giving you, hey, it's time for intermission? Grab another cocktail because you're on another ride. Get back on the ride. Excellent. I like that. I mean, it really sounds like you've put a lot of thought into the structure of the album and the journey you wanted to take listeners on. And I think that's super cool because so many bands now, it's 10, 11 singles. There's nothing stringing them together. It's you look to find, if possible, some sort of thread. Yet they tend to be more living for the shuffle world more than that concept of a musical experience, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's fine. Like, I think a lot of bands get a lot of mileage out of having really strong standalone songs, and that's actually a really rad approach for sure. But I would say, like, if anyone listening is kind of interested in this process, what I would suggest is just demo the hell out of everything. Like, as you go, just record it in some way. Record it on your phone with a shitty guitar and just be like, how does this sound when I'm just listening to it? And then play around. Because that's how it happens with us. Like, we kind of do that with demos, and we do it with our live show. Like, where all the flow points are. And man, once you start getting into it, it's a slippery slope. Like, I'm always like, oh, what's the connection between these songs? And thinking about an album or a show set as its own art piece. You know, it's a really fun way to kind of like present the songs. Hopefully they still work on their own as well. But yeah, I think it's great. And I think that it's like a fun thing to play around with if people want to get into that.
Well, let me ask you this, because you mentioned the word demo a couple of times, and I'm one of those people who love hearing demos. I love hearing a demo and then going, wait a minute, this was conception, and then birth turned out to be this. And many times they're nowhere in between, right? Like, there's night and day. How much of the demo material that the band brings together stays close to that form by the time you hit that final mix?
Is
that another Easter egg?
No, it's a lot, actually. Like, a lot of the demo material is maintained, is held onto, for sure.
I would say the first album less. Like, the first album, like Eric said, we were really trying to find our sound. We were like, hey, let's just cut this whole thing. Let's like I think we're, as a collaborate, like, we all have, there's things that we all really like, but I think across us we span in our tastes. So I think the first one sounded quite different than maybe what we originally started with. The second one, we sort of we kind of understand each other and a lot more, and just like, we're already writing towards that combination of ear and aesthetic and taste. So it feels like it was a lot more solid from the beginning this time.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, and it's kind of an interesting. But I mean, I wanted to say, like, on the first record, which, as you just said, Rocky, was kind of the output of a lot of like workshopping and trying to figure out what we sounded like. There was some moments early on in that process where it was kind of, as Rocky said a few minutes ago, like, she kind of switched into this lead vocal role. And initially there was a lot of kind of, it wasn't uncertainty, but it was just sort of unknowns. Like, what's this going to be like? And there were a few moments doing that where I remember specifically, so there's a song on our first record called Head Tick. And when we, the first time Rocky like really leaned into the vocals for that song, it was like this fucking like gong went off. Like, I could just see it. I was like, I get it. I see what this band is now. And that kind of, those light bulb moments, we didn't have that as much on the second album, because we were kind of more like a team that was like, here's how we're going to take that model and like make an album. But yeah, the first one was kind of this lightning in a bottle chaos that it was really exciting. Like, I get goosebumps thinking about it. Like, do you remember that jam, Rocky? Like, where we first nailed the vocals in Head Tick? I have a recording of it.
Oh my gosh. Jam. I kind of don't, but I guess maybe that was the first monologue.
Yeah, the ending monologue and the verses, like that kind of spitting, like rapping thing. It really like
rapping. I'm awesome.
Oh man, it was exciting.
I don't rap. You tell me.
I'm going to ask you to put a pin in that, because you led me to a question that I like to ask a little bit later on. But I want to make sure as we're talking about the new album. Yes, I'm Hurt. The single is called The Hag, not The Hang. I mean, come on. I mean, we could have had a new theme song here. But walk me through that song and kind of where you wanted us to go with that. Where do you want to take the listener with that song?
Yeah, I think like I guess it was kind of, we were moving into maybe one of the first songs, just playing around with more dynamic levels. So not all the song, like playing around with different types of vocalizations, maybe starting with a quieter kind of talky piece and more of a melodic, like opening riff, like almost post-punk, on the realm of post-punk, but before we jump into our typical hardcore, I think instrumentally. But I got really excited that because the way it works is all the instruments finish, and then I'm late, I'm the last for lyrics, and just kind of scream out gibberish, usually freak out right before a show, write a bunch of stuff before a show, and then just yell whatever it is on stage, and then figure it out, and then it just makes sense later. But it doesn't seem to happen well without all of that. But the heck, like, I don't know, to me, this one, it really just, I love that myth. Like the hag myth is just kind of encapsulates a lot of my writing and our idea of like beauty, I guess, and like kind of counter Puritan. It's just such a cool myth, and I think it's really pertinent today. And this sort of like, it's not saying one person's bad and the other person's good, or one view is good and one view is bad. But I love how everything sort of lives in that gray area, and the hag. So we came up with the term hagcore, which is, like it just touches on things like age. I think I said it before, like aging, this idea of women and like queerness and womanhood, and what it means in society. So I reference a couple like pretty cool, like there's always like references to figures and history sort of in the lyrics. But it's very open to interpretation. So, I find the vision of like the hag sitting on someone's chest, really turned on, and the other person just so immobilized, not because of her weight, but her power. Like really both like sexy, terrifying, like angering, with all, there's a line about like missionaries lauding their signs, outside, like all those, the kind of counteracting forces together is what makes an idea really beautiful. And I really like that about the hag.
Let me ask you, as a librarian and an artist, are you a history buff? Are you a big history person?
Yeah, I'm really awful at trivia and facts. I've had a couple concussions, so things come back to me. Like that's why you'll see me. I will blank on my favorite artist or name, but just sometimes on the spot. But yes, I listen to history podcast. I read about that stuff. I love it. I just might sometimes in the moment get too excited about it. But yes. Because
you were hitting on something. It's interesting because I was hanging with a band out of Las Vegas called the Implosions, and they're a garage punk band and garage rock band, and the lead singer teaches history. She's a huge history buff, and their entire new album is like historical references to Las Vegas. And I find that it's really interesting. It's really interesting when the lyricist or lead singer is a history buff and they're able to weave some pieces of history into a song. And like you're saying, there are references, but you've got to think about them. You've got to pull the pieces together. So I got a feeling about that, and I just want to kind of check that out with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think like in the Hag, actually there's a tie back to the first album a little bit. I don't know if it's about like that. Like I definitely don't start with, I want to talk about this piece of history. Like it really does come with the rhythm and the aesthetic of what images are coming to mind are first. So it's like painting, and then it starts to make sense and I tweak. I'm like, oh, that feeling is about this. Oh, that's happening in society, or that's happened in the past. Oh, okay, that is what this is about. I really don't know what it's about till after the aesthetics of writing. Like something. So what about this song? Yeah, so this one started the first reference. Like one of my favorite artists is Chavela Vargas, who's, she's like just an icon, kind of one of the first, like loudly queer musicians from Mexico. She's just, I listen to her music and it gives me shivers, and her story is just incredible. And one of my favorite songs that she does is also like it's a famous song in folklore, La Llorona. And, it's just like these weeping women, women weeping into a river. Maybe they drown for their children who they may have drowned themselves or not. And there's been a couple amazing covers, but hers is the best overall. And I just think like she's so powerful, was so lonely, had a lot of struggle with, I think, all of that in her world. So it's just like that person, and then comes the history. Okay, I know a little bit, so then the context comes in a bit after.
I was going to say, like, Rocky, one thing I've noticed for you when you are writing is sometimes you'll find like a sort of a reference material of some kind. Like, what was that book that you had? Something all about. Yeah, do you know what I'm talking about?
For skinning? Skinning?
Yeah, well, yeah. Oh, yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it was just a book. The whole book was just poetry. I have it somewhere. I think it's by a Russian author. I can find it later. But I lost it for like a year at my sister's house. So I haven't had it and found it. Anyway, the whole book is just taking different references, like military references, slang, events, but is just like lists it as a poem, like a giant book that's just a poem of these phrases. And so I just spent like a couple months being like, oh, okay, what is this? And, trying to find out what was that event? What does that term mean? And it sort of informed some of the ideas behind skinning.
There's a lot of, I'm somebody who really likes history, but I have a sort of a kind of it's probably a bit of a colonial white guy perspective, and what I miss all the time are all the stories and all the details that are marginalized. And I feel like I've had better exposure to some of the more sidelined stories, just even talking to Rocky about her perspective in history. It's awesome. And it's kind of rad to like take those as frameworks for art.
That's awesome. I like that. See, look what Rocky, you're bringing so much to the band. You really are.
Okay.
You really are.
If we may have misrepresented it, if that's like Rocky is the band, like
no.
The amount of personality and the amount of energy and like the passion in the vocals. Yeah. It's
now we're turning this into like employee review time. So.
Yeah. This is the team
so it is a team thing. So speaking of the team, tell me about the other members of the band who couldn't make it today and what they bring. What pieces do they bring? What's their secret sauce and what do they add to the texture?
Oh my gosh, I really just want to like pop up a funny photo of each one, like in, like a bad 80s documentary where they're just like face sticks over the screen, but I didn't prepare that. Well, you mentioned Jeff because Jeff was one of the first, and Brian, why don't you? Eric, you kind of like brought everyone together.
Yeah, so Jeff Brannon is our drummer, and he's a guy that I've known for years, but haven't really become close with until this band, really. I would see him at shows back in the day, and him and I definitely have, I would say Jeff and I probably have the closest kind of interest in music of all the members of the band. I don't know, that might not be true. But him and I had immediate chemistry when we started jamming. Like, it was really quite striking. Like, the grooves that he wants to throw down for the riffs are basically exactly what was in my head. Or it's something I didn't expect that's better, pretty much always. Yeah, so that's Jeff. Brian is an old friend of mine. I've known him forever. He's really like my best friend. And he plays bass. As Rocky said, him and I have played in a lot of bands, and we have a bit of like, we can sort of predict what the other one's going to do in a way. But I would say that especially with some of the newer Midnight Peg stuff, including some of the stuff on this album, Skinning, we were challenging ourselves, and that ability to predict one another kind of went away a little bit, and we had to kind of work a bit harder to get to know what to do melodically with the guitar and the bass, because it was just outside of our comfort zone. Because we're old emo guys, like the melodic intuition that we have is like American football, basically. So now it's we're trying to be a little uglier, and it's been really fun. But I'm always still like amazed at how like Brian and I were just camping on the weekend, and I was like I was poking him, like, man, the bass on that new song is so rad. And so I'm always still amazed and impressed with his ideas. And then we have a new member, but maybe Rocky, you want to take over?
Sure. Yeah, so Eric wrote all our songs for two guitars because the original vision was that I would play guitar as well. But I don't want to be tied down. No, just kidding.
It's too much energy.
You can't cage me, man.
No, so kind of actually Jeff and I were bugging Eric for like a while. I think we've been kind of trying to like push you to, hey, we want to hear all the parts you wrote live, not just on the record. So finally this year, Eric warmed up to the idea and invited Jasmine Molnar to the band. And for the very first time, like every time stuff blows my mind, we finally just get to hear what it sounds like with all the parts live. So Jasmine, I hadn't met her. I think you knew her from 20 years ago. She hasn't performed in a band in a really long time. And she just like immediately just like fit in and is so awesome. It's just, it's so fun. So she came on board in February, March was the first show, that fundraiser.
Yeah, and she is really amazing. Like, she learned everything so fast. I've never jammed with somebody that just watch. Oh, my dog is howling. I don't know if you can hear that. She just watched me play it, and she's like, "Hey, got it." And and then we would just be playing the songs.
Oh, that's great.
And earlier, when I was saying that Jeff and I have the most kind of parallel music interests, I think that's true. But Jasmine actually, her and I have an old like Edmonton kind of post-hardcore punk, skate punk heritage, and yeah, like both of us, our favorite band in the world is Choke. So the guitar actually, I don't know if the listeners know about Choke from Edmonton, Alberta, but they're this amazing progressive punk band they're still going. They're really awesome. So her and I really we sort of hear things the same way. And so, yeah, the fit couldn't have been better. It's really pretty rad.
Great. No, it sounds like you really rounded it out well. I usually assume that people watching us don't know a bunch about us, right? So they may not know the band, and you've got 2 albums out. You're working on a 3rd already, which is incredible. I like to find out, and this isn't a question about like a single, but I'm curious from each of you. If someone were to go online and find the band and wanted to find a place to start, is there, in your opinion, one song that kind of encapsulates the true essence of the band and what you're trying to express to people as kind of the appetizer to bring them in for the rest?
Oh, that's such a good question. Eric, I want to hear what you're going to say.
Definitely Thirstland. We released a single for the new album. We released it in May, and we kind of went back and forth a little bit about what single would be first. But to me, it was always going to be Thirstland. It's just, it really sort of captures Midnight Peg. I think it's really kind of chaotic and genre bending, and yeah, it's That's my answer for sure. So that's when anyone listening can go and play that right now.
How about you, Rocky? What do you think?
Well, I guess, I don't know, for the first one that kind of popped in my mind, and neither of these have monologues, which is funny, because I feel like we need to prepare people that there are, monologues in a lot of our songs. But actually, I wanted to say a different one that we haven't mentioned tonight, but to me, it's kind of the Hag, for sure, in a way, because it does sort of have a range. Like, it goes from this sort of quiet, like, moment, and then bam, like really, into our typical hardcore chaos. But it has that melodic beginning, melodic interludes, I guess, and melodic breakdowns. I guess there's Linda's too, but I don't know. That's the one that came to mind. And also, it's the one we kept choosing, like when we were mixing this record, to be like, let's mix that one first because it has a little bit of everything. But maybe that was me pushing for that for a reason. But I really wanted to say a different one we haven't talked about, but that's what came to mind.
Okay. Let me, I'm always kind of interested because music is a journey, life is a journey. And it's always kind of fascinating to kind of learn from someone who's either been, each of you, your biggest inspiration or someone who's had the greatest impact on your career to get you where you are today. Who would somebody who's crossed your path in life be that was really that? Could have been the person in your corner. It could have been the person that picked you up when you were down. It could have been someone who just, was in your life for just a short period of time, but had a huge impact. Who might that be, and what kind of impact did they have on you?
Oh man, lots of pressure. I wonder.
I know.
I wonder if I want to think that they're going to hear this or not. Go ahead, Rocky.
I'm going to say, I think my father is not here in a way because we just, that's why I moved to Edmonton, actually, to take care of him when he was going through a transplant, and he died here and I stayed. But he's just kind of a soulmate to me in an artistic sense in some ways, or was growing up, and always sort of encouraged, me to be loud and like try lots of things. Also enjoy being the observer. It's okay to sit in the back room and watch everyone else once in a while. That was hard for me. But more recently, my husband, Hagan, who is probably one of the most amazing writers I've ever read. I love his artwork. And when we were together, we got together right after the band started, pretty quick. I met him in Newfoundland, and 10 days, he moved here in with me, like 10 days later.
Wow.
Then I was sick, then a pandemic, and do this band, and I was really nervous about the band. He just encourages me, and he's so inspiring, like, for me to just, he really pushes me to explore, really challenge my writing, and also quash a lot of, like, doubt, self-doubt, and have fun. Like, it just feels so amazing to be with another artist who gets it, like, gets why it's important. And I don't have to explain anything. He just 100%, I could do whatever I want with it, and he would be supportive, and he would tell me when it's shit, for sure. And that's okay if we differ, but when I know it's also shit, it's really nice to hear from someone else.
That's exciting. I love that story. That is, you've got your person. I think that's fantastic. Yeah. Congratulations. I think that's fantastic. Eric, how about you?
Well, I was thinking about some musician acquaintances and run-ins, and then Rocky made me realize I should probably say my partner. But with that reminder, I will definitely mention her. My partner is just this total goofball that has been. She really is a complete partner. Everything I love and everything that all of the things I want to do and all of the ways I see the world are influenced by the mind meld that I have with her. It's been a long time, and we've traveled all over the world together. And we've done a lot of musical have had a lot of musical experiences together. She is not somebody that is into punk rock or hardcore at all, and that's kind of an interesting thing. So maybe the main thing she's contributed to my career is tolerating a lot of guitar coming from the other room. It's like, oh, you sure played that fucking riff for a while, and so, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, it sounds like you're both in great situations and you've got some very inspirational people behind you. I think that's fabulous. You kind of let the cat out of the bag earlier about you're already working on another song. What are the plans for the rest of 2025 and into 26? Are you guys going to tour behind this, do a run of shows, or are you just going to go right back in the studio? What are the plans for about the next 6 months or so?
A little bit of all of that, I think. We're all in our 40s, so like big stretches on the road aren't possible, but we have a few things we're trying to get going. Hopefully, for this record, we're connected with Thousand Islands out of Montreal, and so we're really keen to get out there and play some shows. And we love going to BC, so we'd like to do that. And yeah, we're kind of in the thick of writing some new stuff, which is honestly, it's yet another like leap forward in a weird way. And so I can't stop thinking about it. Like, I'm loving our new material. So, but we don't have a plan for recording. That'll come when we can get our shit together.
Vinyl, a couple tours. I'm so pissed about what's happened down there. We almost were going to go to Treefort last year.
Shreveport? I'm 3 hours from there.
From Boise, yeah. It's awesome.
Oh, wait. Oh, no. Boise. Oh, I thought you said Shreveport. Oh, I thought you meant Shreveport.
It would be a dream to cross again, but it feels impossible right now. Just lots of reasons. So I'm just saying, almost made it. But yeah, we're going to do a couple things. This will be our first music on vinyl this year. And I'm a super vinyler. So excited about that. I don't know. It's like, yeah, it's hard. Like, it's so hard as adults. Like, we're also busy. We're playing a big festival here. Well, it's one I also run, Purple City Music Festival. It's like a punk, hardcore, psych rock, goth festival. So that kills me until about middle of September. Then we do our album release and everyone's in a couple bands. It's just like that, right? So I think October to kind of early winter, we're really gonna just celebrate this one. And I would like to get in the studio quick. Like, we spent a lot of time with this album, but I think we're all hungry. We've been playing it for a while to just bang off, DIY bang off and next one. I don't know. That's how I'm feeling these days. What about you? Like, we put a lot of thought. We were experimenting a lot with this one, so I think it'd be maybe we spent a little too much time, relatively, for us.
Well, with the new album coming out, make sure, for sure, submit yourselves and see if you can get in on Punk Rock Bowling in Las Vegas next year. I think you guys would be amazing at a club show there. So definitely get submitted for that. A couple things that we like to kind of wrap our heads around here on the hang, and we know that people are watching. They're sticking with us, and we always love to make a good dream or two come true. And I always ask people, if you had an opportunity to get in a studio for one day with one other artist and collaborate and make something, right? And Rocky, it doesn't have to be music, giving you latitude here.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Who would it be and why? Eric, how about you?
So this is a way more of a challenging question than it seems, but I think that the band / musicians that I've been the most blown away by just in the last 6 months is Otoboke Beaver from Japan. We saw them play recently, just here in Alberta actually, and it's hard to even describe how fucking rad they are. Like, they are really progressive and technical, and it's just like, when watching them, I was thinking this is like a new direction for punk. And so especially the drummer and the guitar player, if I could just make a song with them, that would be that's my answer for sure. There'd be a language barrier. My Japanese is non-existent, but yeah.
Google Translate. There's
Translate.
always a way.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone listening, I'm sure everyone listening knows about them, but honestly, just take a look because they fucking shred. They're so good.
Awesome. Rocky, you're brimming. I can tell you. I can tell by looking at you.
I think I got it.
It's coming out. You got it. All right. Lay it on me.
Okay. Here's what it would be. My dream collaboration, and this is like probably a typical, like not a surprising one, would be with Kim Gordon, because she's just been an enormous like stronghold of feminism and femininity and fearless, and she and just, you know, her experimental like impact has just been a voice for like a whole new shift in music since she's been doing things. And I can't stop listening to her solo stuff. That Hungry Baby song's been stuck in my head, but she's like, you know, an icon. And then I would also like to collaborate with the singer of this band. They have one EP out. It came out, I think, in 2021, Tack Beer. And Nao from Tack Beer is a lead singer who kind of fled Morocco to, I think, Norway or Denmark. Sorry, I'm mixing those up. But their 8 songs have been in my head. I cannot stop listening to it. She is incredible. You know, she wasn't able to play punk music where she was from and had to flee and then hide, and now is just taking over the world. And it's so powerful. So those 2. And then I would love to be in a music video directed by Werner Herzog.
Oh, nice.
All right. Now, if anybody knows any of those 3, let's make Rocky's dream come true. For sure. For sure. My Japanese isn't good enough to, I don't know. I don't know what I can do in Japan, but maybe we're big in Japan. Who knows? Oh no, that was Mr. Big. But maybe, you know, one of these dreams can come true. Morocco is one of my favorite countries, one of my favorite places to be. So I'm definitely going to look into that one for sure. That's one I hadn't heard of before, but I'm
incredible.
I'm big on Morocco.
And it's a self-titled album, so it's awesome. So Werner, if you're listening, and you get a book of poems from Xigan Aslanov, aka Virgil Crude, you should read them. That's all I'm going to say.
He will. He'll read them disdainfully and love them.
Check the mail.
I have to.
Something's coming in the post. Check the mail. All right. So, as people who hang with us know, you know, we have to support our artists. Whether it's music, whether it's multimedia, whether it's video, or I don't care if you're sticking popsicle sticks together with glue. We have to support our artists, and support is investing in their art, not sampling it for as little as you possibly can, right? You buy art, you put it on the wall, you buy an album. We've got to support Midnight Peg because there is no way they're getting out of Edmonton, okay, on Spotify
No.
royalties. It's just not going to happen. They may be able to, you know, maybe they can get enough gas to make it to Tim Hortons, but other than that, I'm not sure that those royalties are going to get them much further.
Tim Hortons, I'm not familiar with that restaurant. Never.
Not at all, right? Not at all. Look, you'll be lucky to afford a bag of Hawkins cheesies. Maybe.
Yeah, nice.
So, hey, look, I'm gonna have. We're gonna get inside your mind and what you listen to. And I got one more thing to hit on and I'm gonna make this other person watch to the end because he's my big Canada connection. But so like when you're not making your own music and you're relaxing or you're out, maybe you work out, maybe just go for a walk, maybe I don't know, snowshoeing in the winter, who knows? And you're taking some music along with you. Who are a couple of artists that are like earworms for you that you love listening to that if we're just sitting here having a beer or just sitting here hanging out, you're like, Scott, this is so cool, you got to check him out. Rocky, you got a couple for me?
Well, yeah, I definitely mentioned one. And, you know, I'm going to pump some local Canadian bands that I'm in love with. So one, Man Meat from Saskatchewan. incredible. We played with them a bunch. And another local band here I really love is Bad Ham. We also play with them, like Bad Ham. Probably. And we just came back from a music festival in Calgary, and they're just, it's so good. So there's this band from Vancouver who are about to go on their first tour. They went from they're called Piss, and I have never seen anything like it before. There was moshing behind me while the front row was bawling. It's like a performance piece. I've never felt or seen a hardcore show so raw and emotional. While it's incredible. So they're gonna go on tour, and then they're not playing until 2026. So if they're coming to the States, check them out, read about it, and that band is just mind blowing. Yeah.
Cool. Eric, what do you listen to?
Lately I listen to the new Chat Pile. Is something I'm really crazy about. I'm sure you know about Chat Pile from Oklahoma.
No, I've not heard of them before, actually.
Oh yeah, give them a listen. They're weirdos, and it's really good. There's I usually end up listening to a lot of kind of softer emo-y stuff a lot of the time. Like I really like Mama and Sweet Pill. They're just kind of on repeat for me all the time. There's definitely some local bands from Edmonton. Like my favorite band in the world is False Body. They're a hardcore band from here in Edmonton, female fronted, that are basically just like completely overdriven chaos. They're incredible. We have some buddies here in Edmonton in a band called Vargul who they're just kind of like a really awesome hardcore band that put on a great show, and they're recording a new album right now, which I'm pretty stoked about. Lately, I've just been listening to nothing but Refused for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I'm loving Refused again.
I'm highly anticipatory right now of the new Sloan album because I'm a big Sloan fan.
Nice.
I know,
Canada reference.
See? Another Canada. Look. I almost went to, so here's a funny Sloan story I've told you before. I found them on like a compilation with one song, and I'm like, okay, I got to dig into this band. And I'm like, well, crap, I live in Dallas. They're up in, way up north. And how am I going to ever get a chance to see this band, right? And I'm like, wait a minute, they're playing the States. Atlanta, Georgia has a Canada Day. I kid you not. In June, and they played Canada Day in Atlanta, Georgia. Didn't make that show. Ultimately got to see them when they played Dallas a couple times. I've photographed them, great guys, but I love that band. And one of my things, like knowing about Hawkins Cheesies, because I stalk them and I bother them because they don't sell them down here, is because of Tim Hauer. He's a co-lead singer of Mike and the Mechanics. I have smuggled more Hawkins Cheesies into the UK and into Denmark than any. I mean, if I ever got caught, it was serious contraband. Hawkins Cheesies. Tim is from the area. And by the way, what are we going to do? Because he was crestfallen over the loss of the Stanley Cup. What's going to happen next year? What are we doing about that?
I don't
about
really
the
care.
hockey.
About winning the Stanley Cup, right? Is Edmonton going to come back and win the Stanley Cup next year?
No.
And how can Midnight Peg help Edmonton win the cup?
I don't want to.
We're only at about 15% hockey enthusiasm in this band.
Listen, I gotta get stuck in
Isn't
traffic.
that law though in
hear
Canada?
People fighting and screaming about stupid stuff that doesn't matter outside my apartment for 5 months, and then just all these and I know there's really fun parts of it and stuff, but oh my god, thank God. I was like, oh, if they win, this is going to be a huge summer. People are going to kill me for saying this. I'm going to be the most hated person in town, but I stand by it. And
well,
I'm not on my whole band.
The good thing about Canada is you can't get
my band.
The good thing about Canada is you cannot get kicked out of the country for not liking hockey.
Actually, you can get banned in Alberta. There's a law in place that's still just stuck there. I don't know. They forgot about it. But if you get banned from the city, they have to give you a horse, a gun, and 3 days provisions. So maybe I would totally take that deal. I would take that deal.
And
you can't put me in prison for hating hockey, but you can ban me.
Well, if you're gonna do that beforehand, you better play a lot of games of Wagon Trail just to make sure you can survive.
Oregon Trail.
Oh, hey,
Oregon Trail?
This is Oregon Trail. That's not right. You're right. Oregon Trail. This has been fabulous. We could probably go on a while longer. I've kept you for a while.
Oh,
I can't wait for the new album. Everybody, you've got to support Med Meg Peg. As with always, we're going to put the links below. Buy the album. It's their first vinyl. If you have a turntable, you must own this album. But, merch, go to a show, support the band, support all the artists you see here on The Hang. This has been a fantastic time. Rocky and Eric, I'm glad I got to know you both. When the next album comes out, we'll get the whole band together. We'll hang and they can dish on you guys, right? Because they got to get their turn. And we'll do this again. But everybody, thanks so much for spending time with us. We really appreciate it. You coming back every single week for these great conversations and hangs. So, Rocky, Eric, thanks so much for joining us. And until the next time, take it easy, everybody. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Scott. It's been awesome. See you later, everybody.